All right, so looking at number 1, what's the first thing that we need to do to solve there? Victor, what you think? Victor? Add 4. So we're adding 4. What's negative 28 plus 4, y'all? Negative 24, less than or equal to negative 12x. Okay, buddy, what do we do from there? Divide by what? Negative 12. Y'all, when you divide by a negative, what do you have to do with your inequality? Flip it. So instead of a less than, we're going to have a greater than or equal to and an x. What's negative 24 divided by negative 12? 2. Do we like it to be written like this? So what should we do instead? X less than or equal to 2. So it's open to the 2 here. We need to keep it open to the 2 here. Is that all right? Questions on any of that? All right, looking at number 4. Preston, what's the first thing that we should do there? We got to move that 1 because it's not even touching x, yes? So instead of minus 1, what are we going to do? Add 1 to each side. Then you've got x over 2 greater than or equal to 4. Gina, what do we do from there? It's dividing, so what's going to be the opposite? Multiply. So we're going to multiply both sides by 2. That's going to give us x is greater than or equal to 8. Is that all right? Yeah, you should be checking your answers and going over this with me. All right, number 5. Aiden, what should we do first there? Plus 2y. Good. All right. Kirsten, what should we do from there? Subtract 2y because we want to get our variables on the same side, yeah? So what is 2y minus 2y, y'all? 0. And then what is 2y minus 2y? 0. So we're left with 4 is greater than negative 4. Is that true?
Yeah, that's all we know.
Yeah, so Victor, what do we put as our answer? All real numbers. I'm going to need you to stop talking, okay? Questions on that one? So if your variables cancel and you get a true statement, what do we put for our answer? All real numbers. What if your variables cancel and it's a false statement? No solution. Are we good putting the difference between those two? All right. We are going to skip 7 and 8, so don't even worry about those. So this bottom part right here, this is like the meat of what we got to learn today, okay? So when you are graphing linear inequalities, it's exactly like graphing a line, okay? There's not anything really that's different. So you still have to have it in slope-intercept form before you can graph. What is slope-intercept form? Y equals mx plus b. So we still want it to be in that form. Now last week we had some problems on the bell ringer where we had to solve for y with our inequality. Do y'all remember doing that? That was getting you ready for this, okay? So you still solve like normal. We're still going to graph like normal. If we were going to graph this line, where do you start? Do you remember? Your b. And then you count your slope, rise over run, yeah? Y'all remember doing that? So the exact same thing's going to happen today, okay? What's going to be different? If it says y is greater than, we're going to have to shade it up. If it says y is less than, we're going to have to shade below. So that's going back to how we shaded with the number lines. Do y'all remember doing that? Like we did up here. So we had the 0 and we shaded. So now we've got an entire line that we have to shade, okay? If you have a regular less than or greater than, you're going to make that a dotted line on your graph. And if you have an equal to, it's going to be a solid line. So that sounds a little weird right now. I'm going to give you just a bunch of random information, but we're going to do one together and put all that in a problem. Be okay to try one? So this is what you've got to learn today. Those 4 things. If y is greater, you shade up. If y is less, you shade down. These are going to be a dotted line. These are going to be a solid line. Okay? That's about all that's new today. Questions on anything right now? All right. So if you've got colors nearby, you might want to have one of those for some of these. And if you don't, it's no big deal. All right, so we're looking at number 1 there. We want to graph this inequality. We've got to make sure it's in slope-intercept form. Is that happening here? Yeah, so we're good to go on that. Where are you going to start that graph? -6, your y-intercept. So we're going to go down -6. Then we've got to count our slope. What's the slope there? 3. So you're going to count up 3 over 1. How do we count the opposite direction? Do you remember? Down 3, left 1. Now, if we look at that inequality sign, are we going to have a solid line or a dotted line? Solid, because it's an equal to, yeah? So we're going to connect those dots with a solid line. And I'm going to write out to the side that we're going to do, we have this sign, that means solid. So the last thing that we have to do is shade. So since it says y is less than, does that mean shade above or below? If you can't remember, flip back over. If it says y is less than, you shade below, right? So if I have a point up here, is that above the line or below the line? It's above. So we want to shade below. Do we want to shade that way? So if I have a point over here, is that above the line or below the line? That would be below, right? Do you see how that point is below the line? So that's the direction that we're shading. So we're going to color everything this way. So we know that because it said y is less than, we had to shade below. Do we have any questions right now? Are we okay to try another one? Yeah? All right. Let's look at number 2. What form does our equation need to be in before we can start graphing? What form does it need to be in? Slope intercept form. That's that y equals mx plus b, yeah? Is it in that form? Sure is. Where are we going to start our line at, Andy? Andy, where are we going to start our line? 3. Thank you. 1, 2, 3. Kelsey, how are we going to count our slope? Down 3, right 2. 1, 2, 3, right 2. How would we go the opposite direction here? Up 3, left 2. One, two. Grayson, are we going to connect those dots with a solid line or a dotted line? How do you know it's dotted? How do we know this is going to be dotted, y'all? Because why? Because there's not an equal to on your inequality sign. So since it just says greater, that means dotted. Remember, if it's got an equal to on there, that tells us to have a solid line. So next part, we've got to decide which way to shade. It says y is greater. Does that tell you to shade above or below? Above. So we've got to decide which direction is above that line. So if I have a point over here, is that above the line? What if I've got a point over here? Yes, so that's the direction that we want to shade. Do we have any questions on that one? Alright, so let's look at number 3. What is wrong with that inequality on number 3 right now? It is not in y equals mx plus b. We need it in slope intercept. How are we going to get it there? Solve for y. So Cam, what do we do first to solve for y? Subtract 4x. So then we're going to have y as less than negative 4x plus 3. Is that in slope intercept form, y'all? It is. So, Brianna, where do we need to start our graph? Brianna B. Plus 3. Jocelyn, how are we going to count our slope? Down 4, right 1, yeah. I'm using it right now. Yeah. I like it. How are we going to count the opposite direction? Up 4, left 1. So Brett, are we going to connect those dots with a solid line or a dotted line? Dotted, yeah. Y'all, why is it a dotted line this time? There is no equal to on that inequality sign. So since it's just a less than, it's going to be dotted. Now I've got to decide which way to shade. So we're looking at where it says y is less than. So since it says y is less than, y'all, does that tell us to shade above or below? Below. So if I've got a point over here, is that below the line? Yeah, so that's the direction that we need to shade. Are we okay? Questions right now? Alrighty, we're moving on to number 4. So looking at number 4, one thing real quick, I goofed. I didn't put an inequality in here. So what do y'all want to put? Do you want less than, greater than, less than, equal to, greater than, equal to? What you want? Greater than, equal to. Wonderful. We're going to put that in there. We got a greater than and an equal to. So what is wrong with that right now? It's not in slope intercept form. So we've got to get it in that form. Kayla, what do we need to do to get it in slope intercept form? Yes, ma'am. We're in minus 7x. David, do we have to do anything else? Yep. Divide everything by 2. So we're going to have y is greater than or equal to, what's negative 7 divided by 2? Negative 7 over 2. Do we want to get that as a decimal right now? Why not? Can you do rise over run with a decimal? No, so you leave it as a fraction. Who? I have a Michael Dowles and I have an Aiden type note. Aiden, okay. In the sleeve room? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Aiden, your lunchbox is in Miss Lee's room. Okay. Negative 4 divided by 2. What do we get? Do not go right now. You'll go when you go to lunch. Negative 4 divided by 2. What do we get? Negative 2. Are we okay with that, y'all? Are we good solving for y? Yes? No? Maybe? Okay. So now we're in slope intercept form. We can go ahead and start graphing. Let's see. Dominic, where are we going to start? Two? Yeah, because our y-intercept's -2. So we're going to go down 2. Chris, how are we going to count our slope? Do you know what our slope is? So this is our y-intercept. What do you think the slope has to be? -7/2. And we count it rise over run. So how do you think we're going to count that? Up or down 7? It's negative. So we'll go down 7 over 2. So we went down 7, right 2 right now. How are we going to count it the other way? Up 7, left 2. And I don't think we have room to do another one there. Michael, are we going to connect these dots with a solid line or a dotted line?
Solid.
How do you know that it's solid?
Is it stayed or
You're exactly right. Since we got that equal to there, it's got to be solid. Oh, I did not hit the dots. So it says that y is greater than. So when it says y is greater than, which way do we shade, Ethan? Above. So y'all got to decide which side is above. So if I have a point down here, would that be above the line or below the line?
below?
Below. What if you got a point up here? That's above. So which direction do we want to shade? This way. Is that all right? Are we okay with how to tell which is above and which is below?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, no, maybe? Kind of?
What if it doesn't?
That's a great question. Can we talk about that real quick, y'all? What kind of a line would give us something that looks like this? What equation? This is it has undefined slope. What equation would get us there? Do you remember?
0 over
Y equals 0 would be here.
y
X equals 0 would go there. So let's pick a number other than 0. Can we pick something else? Can we do like X is less than 2? Can we go with 2? Is that okay? So if we were going to graph that, you would go to 2. And is that going to be a horizontal line or a vertical line? Vertical. Which way is our little arrow pointing? Left. Which way do you think we should shade? To the left. Is that okay? What if it's what? Still, you would go either way from there. What if instead of a vertical line, we had a horizontal line? Do you want to do one like that? Yeah? So what equation would give us a horizontal line? Y equals something. So do y'all want to do less than, greater than? What you think? Y, what you want to put? Less than what? 5. Cool. So we got our little graph going on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to have a dotted line horizontally. And it says y is less than. So does that mean shade above or below? Below. So you think we're going to go this direction? Go this direction. Down. Below the line. Everything below. Is that okay? Do we kind of get how those work? You're going to have 2 like that on your homework and on classwork. So are we good? Any questions there? Do y'all want to do 2 and 6 on your own? We need to pick a sign for number 6. Are y'all ready to try it on your own, or do we need to do another one together?
Let's do 6 together.
What inequality y'all want to put on 6?
Less than or equal.
Less than or equal to. Sounds good to me. All right, try 5 and 6 on your own. Let's see what we can do.